The insert statement is used to add new records to a database table. It is one of the 4 basic CRUD operations, that is, create, read, update, and delete. Here is the standard syntax for the insert statement. The statement begins with the insert into keywords, followed by the table name. Enclose within parentheses the list of column 1, column 2, column 3, and so on, which are the names of the columns in the table you're inserting data into. The values keyword is followed by another set of parentheses, containing value 1, value 2, value 3, and so on, which are the actual data you want to insert into the respective columns. Make sure to end the statement with a semicolon. Now let us understand the explanation. First, specify the table where you want to add records. Second, list the columns that will receive data. Third, provide values that match the columns in order. Values must match the column data types. Finally, end the statement with a semicolon. Let us consider an example of inserting data into an employees table. On the left, there is an employees table structure. The table has columns like employee ID of integer type, first name, and last name of variable character type with length 50, email of variable character type with length 100, and hire date of date type. Employee ID is the primary key, and first name, last name, and hire date are not null, and email is unique. On the right, you can see the insert statement example. Here is how we add a new employee record. The insert statement starts with the comment, insert a new employee record, then the insert into keywords followed by the employee's table name. Next, we specify the columns employee ID, first name, last name, email, and hire date. After that, we use the values keyword and provide the corresponding values such as 1001 for employee ID, John for first name, Smith for last name, john.smith@example.com for email, and June 15, 2023 for hire date. For efficiency, SQL allows inserting multiple records with a single insert statement. This reduces database round trips, improves performance for bulk operations, and maintains the same column order for all row values. Here is the code. The insert statement starts with the comment, insert multiple employees at once, then the insert into keywords followed by the employee's table name. Next, we specify the columns employee ID, first name, last name, email, and hire date. After that, we use the values keyword and provide the corresponding values for multiple employees in the same format. Here is an alternative syntax. The insert statement starts with the comment, inserting without specifying columns, then the insert into keywords followed by the employee's table name. The column names are not specified here. After that, we use the values keyword and provide the corresponding values such as 1005 for employee ID, David for first name, Wilson for last name, david.w@example.com for email, and September 1, 2023 for hire date. Let us see some important considerations when columns are omitted. First, values must match all columns in the table. Second, values must follow the exact order of columns in the table definition. Third, you must provide values for every column. It is not recommended for production code. It breaks if table structure changes. Let us consider the products table with defaults. On the left, there is a products table structure. The table has columns like product ID of integer type, name of variable character type with length 100, price of decimal type with precision 10 and scale 2, in stock of Boolean type, and created date of timestamp type. Product ID is auto-increment, name and price can be null, in stock defaults to true, and created date defaults to current timestamp. On the right, you can see how we use default values. Here is an example of explicit default keyword. The insert statement starts with the insert into keywords followed by the products table name. Next, we specify the column's name, price, and in stock. After that, we use the values keyword and provide the corresponding values such as laptop for name, 999.99 for price, and default for in stock. Here is an example of omitting columns with defaults. The insert statement starts with the insert into keywords followed by the product's table name. Next, we specify the column's name and price. After that, we use the values keyword and provide the corresponding values such as smartphone for name and 699.99 for price. The insert into select statement is used to copy data between tables. You can insert data from one or more tables into another table using this statement. Column data types must be compatible, and the number of columns in select must match insert. This is powerful for data migration and ETL processes. Some common use cases are archiving historical data, creating backup tables, populating summary or reporting tables, and data transformation pipelines. Here is the syntax and example. The basic syntax is insert into target table, column 1, column 2, and so on, select column 1, column 2, and so on, from source table, where condition. Here is an example: copy active employees to archive. Insert into employees archive, employee ID, first name, last name, department. Select employee ID, first name, last name, department, from employees, where status equals inactive. Here are some best practices. Always specify column names explicitly. Use prepared statements or parameterized queries to prevent SQL injection. Validate data before inserting. Use transactions for multiple related inserts. Include only necessary columns. Consider bulk inserts for large data sets. Handle null values intentionally. Here are some common errors. Column count does not match value count. Data type mismatch, for example, text in numeric field. Violating unique constraints. Missing required fields, not null constraints. Character encoding issues with special characters. Here is an example of an error. Error: column count does not match value count at row 1. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.